N8 Masterclass from beginner to AI agent builder. That sounds so beautiful, man. I promise you almost made me cry. Welcome to this presentation on N8 Masterclass, where we'll explore how to go from a beginner agent to a
My name is Jeff.
level of building agents. Okay, an AI agent is something that nowadays is familiar. It's a term that has become familiar lately. Um, should I talk about what it is, or should I talk about what is N8? Oh no, that's a good question. So, an AI agent is basically whatever prompt you put inside an input format, whatever the input format. So, comes from you, right? And goes to the LLM. Okay, that's the agent. So, every input that goes to the LLM comes in a certain format and it has a prompt attached to it. Okay, so you could do it via speech, you can text it, you can push a button, you can whatever it is. But um, that trip, you'll say, that journey towards the LLM, that itself is an AI agent. Okay, and then whenever it comes back, the answer, it could go again through an AI agent and sort of reproduce it somehow, right? At least from my understanding, current understanding. So then you could do that manually, right? Or you could put together a system and let it happening on automatic, right? So if you're familiar with automation, you will say that things are in place, right? Certain elements of the system are in place. And then once you press a button, it goes through the whole system, the whole line, production line, and it gives you a result, right? That's what automation is. All right, good. Right, brilliant. Now you can do that in your code. You don't need a platform to do that. You don't need no drag and drop. You can literally just, this is basically functions. Okay, you just write, if this happened, do this. If it's this is that. You give them the API keys, and obviously they have access to all these applications, and you can go, it gets stuff done. All right, that's the system, that's the flow. It's a piece of code. It can be one in one document, right? HTML document. Don't need all of that, but you do need the access level. Okay, so the keys, the API keys. So now obviously, because this is our nature, we're trying to capitalize on making things easier for others. Obviously they created these platforms, like N8, N89, sorry, N8, N8N. It's like a tongue twister, isn't it? And so what's exactly is it's a powerful low code and no code automation tool that allows you to automate processes and build complex workflows with minimal coding. because nobody likes coding. But if you know and you like it, you don't need all this. This is nonsense. This is kid stuff. But then, right, you'll understand that things are so much simple. I can't believe it. So let me just show you. I know. Um, Clearly, I've been using my stuff here, and because they give you like workflows. There you go. Let me see if I get some images. Um, they give you some free trial or something, and then they want money for for you to actually use the workflows. If you don't pay, then they're gonna shut up the system, and you cannot use the workflow inside the system because it's always a scam like that. Okay, so then you're going back to coding. It's like, you know what? Fuck your platform, and let me just write it down because it's better. So it is easy because it's graphical. You can see, you can connect nodes, you can play around like you play with toys, you can create all this stuff, and then you have it saved somewhere like in a sandbox, and then you can use that whenever you want, right? Or you can give it to somebody and all that stuff. But then, as I said, you always have to have like you have to pay for all that to be able to use all that. And yeah, it's nice because it has a lot of tools, integration tools. You can, you know, has a lot of tools so you can integrate and you can call them inside this space, right? And you can do that with just the click of a button and such. And that's the point where it makes sense for you to invest in this application. But I would say that like anything else, you have to be smart about your investments and understand that certain costs are a necessity and certain are not. It's just luxury. And if you could work your way around it and leave and increase your profit margins instead of falling for all these luxury items and traps, then I guess you should do that. But it's up to you. Whatever makes you happy, my brother. Anyways, why automate workflows? Okay, I'll say automating your workflows is crucial in today's fast-paced environment. It leads to increased efficiency, saves time and money, and allows your processes to scale. Moreover, it improves how you handle data and ultimately enhances the customer experience by enabling faster and more personalized interaction. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess it's a double side of the coin, right? They always kind of put these aspects like, oh, it does this, it does that, but you kind of forget that it does this and that does the other one, which it's not really convenient. So the more you increase your scale, the more you have to handle, the more money you have to push in, right? And then you have all this fast pace, that's nonsense. It is things I'll do are moving faster, but we still appreciate old school. We still have a lot of stuff that are still, or not that fast paced, you know. And I guess it's a world of diversity. It's not just fast doing and all that stuff. No, it's not always like chasing the fastest way, but more like what's more adapted for you at that moment, what makes more sense. So maybe certain workflows can be automated for sure, but in certain workflows, you require humans because the human interaction does make sense, you know? So I don't think we should go like head first into this. We should be wise enough to understand where it makes sense and where it doesn't, and I guess keeping that human side aspect, human aspect of your business also makes a lot of sense, right? It's not all about automating stuff, always having more, 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 having all that bullshit. You have a Ferrari that can reach 400 miles per hour. I'm just saying, obviously, but you can only drive with 100 miles per hour. How is this making any sense? You clearly don't need all that, right? So we might just get a normal car and fuck that Ferrari. And but I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, make it make sense, But anyways, yeah. So getting started with N8N. It's simple, straightforward. You can choose between a self-hosted or cloud-hosted setup, depending on your needs. Um, I would say, yeah, depending on your needs. The cloud-hosted requires a service. Always have to pay that. Put the money in there. Self-hosted keeps your data protected, so I guess that's the best part of it. And the core concept to grasp our workflows, which are series of steps. Basically, they are nodes that individual actions and executions, which are the runs of your workflow. So the user interface is intuitive, and there is a wealth of community resources, including a template gallery and extensive documentation to help you along the way. I don't think it's hard to build it, but maintain it. It's harder to maintain it, and it's harder to build it for the right environment, for the right people that are willing to invest into maintaining and yeah, upgrading every now and then. So I guess those guys that have workflow agencies, they are thriving now because it's like they providing they're providing the workflow, they're creating that for them. But then it requires some maintenance, but then it requires some upgrades and so on. They need a really, they're trying to automate a bit more than of their business, and they can always go back to them. So yeah, kind of makes sense, but as I said, it's up to you what you're trying to do in this world. I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. So your core concepts and your first automation, it will be N8N has four main types of nodes. It's called trigger nodes to start the workflow, action nodes to perform tasks, data transformation nodes to modify data, and logic nodes to make decisions. And who makes the decision for you? Mostly LLMs, right? And in the masterclass, a practical example is shown where a workflow is built to automatically process customer orders from a Google Sheet, summarize them with ChatGPT, and then email a report, which is basic stuff that businesses deal with, right? They get a they get an order, they summarize it, and they get a report from it. And yeah, that happens in a matter of seconds. And you have a business, you clearly want something like that because it saves you a lot of time. Absolutely. So it makes sense in certain situations, but do not exaggerate. RAG and vector database. Now, what is RAG? RAG is a retrieval augmented generated generation, where for accurate context aware AI responses. So around any LLM, there is a RAG system that basically helps retrieving that information correctly. And this is one of the most important parts of the whole system, of the whole, you know, uh, company success or something like that. Because the way the results come back to the client makes a difference from a client keep wanting to do that again and again and paying all those money and not trying to find somebody else. So basically helps generating more accurate and context aware responses. This is often paired with vector databases, which stores data in a way that allows for efficient retrieval based on meaning. So it definitely goes hand in hand with the vector database. Um, Otherwise, it's not working for any rack system has a vector database because of the way it stores information. So a practical example is provided showing how to build a RAG AI agent that can answer questions about Nike Nike earnings PDF. Inside this more masterclass, obviously you will find that. Anyway, slide 7. Let's move on. Expanding agents with custom tools. One of the most powerful features of N8N is the ability to expand your AI agents with custom tools. Just that's the best part of it. You can build your own workflows for specific tasks and have your agents use them. That's amazing, isn't it? And now you're looking like a one-man band doing everything by yourself. And you, okay, so examples include a personal assistant that can manage your database and emails, or an email classifier that can automatically categorize and respond to your messages. Listen, they always give you bullshit examples. They're using this for things that you don't want to know. Crazy stuff, right? This is they just show you something that you can accept. But the type of shit they're using this, you don't want to know. Trust me. If all of a sudden you it sounds like it seems like it's too it's impossible. It's too nice. It sounds too good to be true. They're probably using something like this. Okay, like the offer, or they're coming up with some sort of offer or some sort of something like that. Okay, they are you definitely targeted. And the APIs and the HTTP request, HTTP API fundamentals. At its core, N8N communicates with other services through APIs and HTTP requests, and the masterclass covers the fundamentals of how this works, including the common get and post request methods. You will see examples of how to retrieve weather data and create a Google Calendar event using this request. Webhooks are also introduced as a way to trigger your workflows from external events. Yeah, and that just got me sleepy. almost fall asleep. Error, workflows, and best practices. Finally, it's important to build robust and reliable workflows. The masterclass shows you how to set up error trigger workflows that can notify you when something goes wrong. It also covers best practices for optimizing your workflows, such as keeping them organized, using using sub workflows for reusable components, implementing proper error handling, and designing them for scalability. Damn, that was boring as fuck. I can't even imagine creating something like that. So, for that reason, I guess this is somebody's job, right? I guess it makes sense for you to pay the man and get the shit done. That's why you don't sit down and spend all the time in creating your own computers, your own cars, your own whatever, right? So, this is one of those cases. You want your business to to deliver uh, products faster. You create create a workflow like this. Hire somebody that does it if you ain't got the neck for it, right? And pay the man, get the workflow, put it in practice, maintain it obviously because you have to pay for it to keep it going, and get the benefits out of it, and that's what it is. Yeah, it's just a new concept now that we don't really know much about it, like because it's early, it's just a couple of years now. Not everyone knows about it, but I guess it's gonna stay here on this form or another. It's here to stay because it makes sense and it helps a lot, especially certain people. And yeah, I guess if you find interesting anything about this, you can go ahead and look for the masterclass so that you can learn all these little details that the man shows you there in detail, you know. But yeah, I guess the question you have to ask yourself is the cost involved. Um, how much time it saves? Is it really worth it? All that stuff this question you have to ask yourself first, and then do some math. And if it makes sense, then go ahead and do it. If not, just hire an Indian or something. I don't know. All right, if it makes sense.